Groceries are way more expensive right now, or at least are feeling that way to me. I just got home from my wedding and my honeymoon where we spent a bunch of money, and on our way home we actually adopted a puppy. So we have, new puppy costs, going to the vet, toys, beds, new food, things like that. So I am going to do a little bit of a pantry clean out, a Project Pantry for the next at least 4 weeks. I can probably go longer based on how much stuff I know is in my pantry and my freezer. So I hope if you're feeling the same kind of way around grocery costs and prices these days, maybe you're just trying to save money before the holidays, that you will join me on a Project Pantry or like a low buy grocery month. Hi, I'm Kara McIver. Nope. Hi, I'm Kara Craddock, and I am a registered dietitian who doesn't really like to cook. If you think all dietitians like to cook, not me. I typically will just put things together. So I'm gonna show you a bunch of the stuff that I have in my pantry and in my freezers today, and then I'm gonna give you some ideas of the meals that I'm gonna make from some of those things to hopefully give you some ideas, things you can make from items that are in your pantry. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and buy any of these things. I'm just telling you some ideas on what you might be able to make from some of the things that are just kind of hanging around your house as well. This cabinet that is full of like dry goods and all kinds of stuff. So you can see 4 shelves. Up on the top, I have like a bunch of different types of flours, semolina, caro syrup, cornbread muffin mix, nutritional yeast, panko breadcrumbs, pancake mix. On the next shelf down, I have some Belvita bars. There's actually over here is an empty container because we usually put like Nutrigrain bars or Fig bars, but we like them a lot, so they are gone. Then in the middle, we have graham crackers. That sort of like turquoise thing in the middle is protein powder. Next to that, I have powdered peanut butter. I would bet there's something behind that as well. That black box is Kodiak cake protein mix. Typically, this white thing is full of like Cheez-Its or Goldfish. I think it's empty right now too. Then some gum. Down from that, I have canned tuna, canned chicken, chia seeds, psyllium husk metamucil fiber supplement. Sometimes I use that for me and sometimes I use that for my dog. Next to that, I have, I'll just pull this out. This is a trail mix. And then next to that are like some dried fruits, some nuts, some seeds. I actually buy all that stuff from Costco and then I make my own trail mix. I got these really delicious dark chocolate almonds that I got from Trader Joe's and a bunch of popcorn back there. These bags, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate chips that again I put in that trail mix that I make for myself. I have one little cracker left. These are Wassa crackers. And I have a bunch of canned stuff. So Rotel, garbanzo beans, baked beans, pinto beans, big thing of peanut butter that I know I have at least one more of. We've got black beans, hatch green chilies, a bunch of tomato paste, coconut milk, some green curry paste, tahini. This is just mince from the wedding. This is another clear protein powder. And then back here I have dried meats, canned fish, some dark chocolate, and I have candy canes. I actually have a ton of candy canes from the first time I had COVID. It was the only thing that could get rid of the metallic taste from the Paxlovid that I was taking. And then in the back here I actually also have some jams. So lots of stuff to make charcuterie, that's for sure. Oh, and back there you can see behind that Metamucil is a whole box of applesauce. Now, part of the reason I have so much bulk stuff like this is because I shop at Costco a lot, and I shop at Costco a lot and I have a really good habit of not finishing things before I buy more. So let's close this pantry. Then I actually have another pantry here. This one I have in these boxes at the top, you'll see like cereal, there's some rice, there's oats, there's, I don't even know what that is. It's some sort of flour, I think. And then the empty one is where I usually keep all-purpose flour, which I think I'm actually out of at this point. Then down below that I have like oils and vinegars, some seasonings and spices. All the way in the back there you can see a big bucket of Maldon. And then I have some baking cups, and in the back you can see some dried pasta. I think that I also have farro, some noodles, ramen noodles I think, more pasta in the back there, protein pasta, soy sauce, couscous. So I mean I got all kinds of stuff in there. And then embarrassingly enough, I also have what we refer to as a carb drawer. Sometimes this is more full snacks, sometimes less. I have protein beef sticks. These are gummy bears left over from my bachelorette party, 2 bags of tortilla chips from my bachelorette party, and a box and a half of protein bars. And you know what? That is not even close to all of what I have. Now let's go into my refrigerator, and mostly I'll show you my freezer. This top one is really not that interesting. Just some frozen fruit in the middle here. Over here I have some frozen yogurt and peanut butter mix things for my dogs. Another thing for my dogs. This is frozen sausage patties. I think there's literally like 1 or 2 left in here. And then I also have breakfast burritos. Down here I have so much stuff. Frozen shrimp, frozen vegetables. I think this is frozen salmon, maybe? Oh, it's scallops. I have frozen fruit, more frozen vegetables, rice, cauliflower. Let's see what else. I have peas and blueberries, and I have half a box of puff pastry. Now, if you are thinking, damn Kara, that is a bunch of food already, you would be correct. Down here we have paper products. Don't tell me about all the plastic here. I know I'm going to try to do better in the future, but this is what I have for now. So over here we have a big box of chips. We have a ton of dry pasta. We have some big bags of nuts that I haven't used for trail mix yet. And then up here I have decaf black tea that I like to drink at night. Let's go up one shelf. We have mayo and vegan mayo. In fact, we have a bunch of better than bouillon. So these 2 things that you can sort of see right there, those on their own would make like so much stock. It's crazy, like for soup. So again, we get those from Costco. We probably don't need to buy more of that for like years. Mayo and vegan mayo. We have this Beaver's hot mustard that my husband really likes. We have apple cider vinegar. Next to that we have canned tuna, more of the trail mix that I like to make. Probably a half full box of popcorn, more graham crackers, more oatmeal, drink mixes, some avocado oil. Let's see what we have that in the back because there's definitely more right there. We have more beans. Next to that, we have something that I'm really excited to see. We have Goodles, which are their mac and cheese. So we have that one, and then we also have a bunch of the other flavor as well. Those are mac and cheese that are made out of, I think, chickpeas or lentils, so they're higher in fiber. I have a huge, massive bag of chia seeds that I've not even opened. That will last me, probably for the rest of my life. We have another giant thing of peanut butter, and then if you can see back there, the green top things are pasta sauce, some more vinegars, some more sauces and seasonings. And then we have another layer where we have some dish soap, some hand soap, coffee. I don't drink coffee, I only drink tea, but my husband drinks coffee, and he's not a coffee snob during the week. A ton more canned beans, and then just some baking soda and some spray oil. So that is more pantry stuff. Let's move over. Over here we have V8. On the top there we have protein shakes, some various kinds of waters. These I bought for a protest that we went to, and we just still have some left. And then in the back there we have apple juice. In our fridge we have, our downstairs fridge, we have a tub of Greek yogurt. I can tell you we have half of one of those upstairs as well. We have a box of 5 dozen eggs. I think we have maybe half a dozen eggs upstairs as well. Some more drinks, and then on the bottom there is just our dog's food. And then I do have some alcohol over here. My husband doesn't drink at all. I don't drink very much, so that'll last forever. I have 1 carton of egg whites in the refrigerator, thawing. And then in our top freezer here, we have more egg whites. We have a box of tofu. Behind that box of tofu, you can see a box of singles for hummus. We have butternut squash ravioli. We have pulled pork that has been frozen since June. We should probably use that pretty soon. And we also have beef stew. It would be beautiful. Love to see that. These are called super cubes. They are awesome. They're so nice for freezing things, and they have a bunch of different sizes, so you can serve you can freeze different portion sizes. I tried to save some potatoes that were going kind of bad, so I made hash browns. We'll see if these turn into anything good. We have some black forest ham, and we have a frozen Costco lasagna. And then this is just the setting or the frozen bowl to make ice cream in my stand mixer. Over here we have a bunch of butter. We have one more thing of lentil soup. I'm actually gonna pull this out. And then we have 2 containers of turkey broth from almost a year ago. Should probably use that. We made that, or Tyler, my husband made that, or saved it from when he made Thanksgiving last year. And then we have a frozen thing of extra lean ham from Costco. I like this as well. I'll pull that out too. And we are still not done because we now need to go into the chest freezer. In the chest freezer, oh man, this is almost full too. I didn't think it would be. We have Eggos. We have some English muffins. We have a bunch. Under those Eggos, we have more chicken thighs. We have some pork chops down there. We have some frozen ground turkey. And then I think if you went down there, you would also find some ribs or pork shoulder, something like that. This meat, a lot of this meat will be used for dinners. My husband is responsible for dinner. In the upstairs refrigerator, we have, let's see, a little bit of milk over here. We get milk delivered every week. I don't drink a ton of milk anymore, although I love milk, so maybe I'll drink a little bit more, except my husband gets cream top delivered, which is not my favorite. So I don't drink a ton of that, but maybe it'll go into something. We have pickled red onions, which I love, syrup and other condiments. Up here, I have some eggs. We have half a thing of champagne, not real champagne. I made myself a Hugo's worth last night, so that's why that's there. I only made one, didn't finish it, so that's probably on that. I have cottage cheese, yogurt, oat milk that again came from my bachelorette party, and honestly, I'll have to be, I don't even know if that's good anymore. Then we have some broccoli down here. We have some other fresh vegetables. Again, so we have snap peas, we have celery, carrots, bell peppers, radishes, and we have over here we have Brussels sprouts and I think some parsley. Just shut my fridge, but we also have a couple of protein shakes, and then over here you'll see more of that bouillon. This looks disgusting. It's just beef broth and some of that powdered peanut butter to put in tongs and then freeze for my dogs. But you can see, like, we have bouillon, and then we have this giant thing of jelly that has not been opened. So I see people on TikTok all the time doing Project Pan with their makeup, and what they always say is, this used to be money. Like, all this stuff I have, all the food I have in my pantry and in my freezer, that used to be money. And I bought all of that stuff with the intention that one day I would use it all. And when I used it all, it would be, you know, in times when I didn't have as much money to spend, or I was saving for something big. So now is the time, right? Like, I bought all of this stuff for now. Why don't I use this stuff that I bought when it was cheaper and hope that I can last with the stuff that I already have long enough that, like, maybe grocery prices go down a little bit more, or maybe things change. And if they don't, at least I've gone several months not putting the money out for food, so that when I have to go grocery shopping again, I mean, the next time I go to Costco, I have saved money to be able to put towards that trip. We do cook a lot more than a lot of people do. My husband, at one point when we first met, opened and ran a restaurant. So he has plenty of skills and time to cook, which makes it a little bit easier for us to use all of this food up. But like I said, I don't really like to cook. I can sort of cook. I don't mind baking, especially like around holidays and things. But for the most part, like, I really prefer to just put stuff together. So I have a lot of things that I can just put together and make healthy meals. So on that point, how do you take all of this stuff and turn it into healthy meals? Now, as a registered dietitian, that of course is what I am focused on. And if you're not sure where to start in putting together healthy meals, I recommend starting with the MyPlate method. What MyPlate says is that when you have a meal or a snack, you want about half your plate to be fruits or vegetables. And then you want a quarter of your plate to be grains or starches, and you want a quarter of your plate to be protein. Now, if you are an athlete and you're spending a lot of time in the gym, I would recommend using the United States Olympic Committee athlete plates rather than using MyPlate. They're slightly adjusted based on higher physical activity expenditure. And then if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, I would recommend using the American Diabetes Association plate, which is, it really looks very similar to MyPlate, but they say half of your plate should be non-starchy vegetables and a quarter of your plate where we normally put grains. They are recommending specifically whole grains, starchy vegetables, things like potatoes, and then a quarter of your plate, again, lean proteins. What am I gonna make this week? So first of all, like I mentioned, my husband is responsible for dinner. So I don't even think about dinner. You also saw me pull out my lentil soup, my frozen lentil soup. So I made this right before my wedding because I knew after the wedding I was not going to have a ton of time to cook before I went back to work. So this is actually, I think, my 4th or 5th jar of that lentil soup because I ate that the week that I went back to work after the wedding. What I will do, again, with this lentil soup, thinking of the MyPlate method, lentils, they have a lot of nutritional similarity to vegetables. So when I'm eating lentil soup, I will kind of count the lentil soup as both my grain and my vegetables. Now, I will also add a fruit. So I will probably add, we have 1 apple left. This is gonna be more than 1 day's worth of lunch. So I will probably add an apple one day and then maybe an applesauce pouch a couple of days. So that will be lunch for several days. And then if you are vegan or vegetarian or you just eat plant-based, there's also a ton of protein in lentils. So lentil soup is kind of it's covering a lot of your bases, but because I am an athlete and I like to do a lot of strength training, I like to eat a little bit higher protein. So I pulled this this Costco ham out of the freezer as well. And this is a super lean ham. There was another package of ham that I showed that has a little bit more fat in it. That's okay too. It's just a little bit more energy, a little bit more flavor, a little bit more juiciness. Because I'm eating it with soup, this lean ham is just fine. And this ham from Costco, 1 slice is an extra 5 grams of protein. So 2 slices I'll probably add when I am eating my soup. Now I might run out of soup. So if I run out of soup this week, I will have Goodles. This is macaroni and cheese that is made with chickpeas, chickpea protein, wheat protein. So this also has a ton of fiber, just like the lentil soup does, and it has a good amount of protein as well. So this box will make 2.5 servings, about 2.5 servings according to this box. 1 serving has 7 grams of fiber and 15 grams of protein. So a really good start to our meal. Again, this will be the starch corner of my MyPlate, and then it adds a little bit of protein as well, but I will increase that protein from 14 grams by adding just some canned chicken. And then I forgot to pull it out, but I will add frozen broccoli to that as well. I will just take frozen broccoli and I will thaw it and I will chop it up really small, which will cover that color portion of the MyPlate meal. This will just take me like maybe 10 minutes to make, and I will add canned chicken fiber and like sulfurous vegetables like broccoli. These are things that are going to give you gas. I am always going to recommend taking Beano or some sort of carbohydrate enzyme. Doesn't have to be the name brand. I'm always taking this when I'm having either lentil soup or Goodles or anything else, beans, anything that's really high in fiber, because I just need the help. I'm gonna eat lunch at work, so yeah, I just don't want to have a ton of gas, so I will take a Beano. Now again, this is gonna have about 7 grams of fiber. I don't know exactly how much the lentil soup will have, but it will have at least that much, if not more, which is about 1/3 or almost 1/3 of the amount of fiber that is recommended in a day. So we recommend 25 to 35 grams of fiber in a day, and only about 5% of Americans are actually hitting that recommendation. If you are out there thinking like, wow, I can't believe this registered dietitian is eating like boxed food, is eating like processed food, well, this is a lot better for me, a lot better for my health than what I would get if I was like going through a drive-through or something. So that's lunch. let me show you what I'm gonna have for breakfast this week. I am probably going to be having smoothie bowls. Now that I think about it, I might switch to something with cottage cheese because cottage cheese is probably gonna be the first thing to turn. So I wanna use it all up before it goes bad. But I think it'll wait until next week. So this week I'm gonna have smoothie bowls. Now I do my smoothie bowls by just taking a boxed or prepared protein shake. I like the Premier Protein ones. I love the caramel flavor and they are at Costco. This is not sponsored by these guys or Goodles or Costco, but if any of those three brands want to sponsor my videos, huge fan, huge fan. Would happily let them. One of these, and I will take a bunch of frozen fruit. Frozen fruit oftentimes has more vitamins and minerals than fresh fruit. And that's because it is frozen right at its ripest. At its peak ripeness, that is when it has the most vitamins and minerals. Frozen fruits also tend to be cheaper and you can buy a big amount and keep them for a long time and they won't go bad. Plus, when you mix them with a protein shake, because they're frozen, they give you like the perfect texture, the perfect consistency for a smoothie bowl. I'm going to try to get through, I won't finish this whole bag of chia seeds this week, but I'm gonna try to get through the chia seeds. Now, chia seeds, again, another really excellent source of fiber. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds will give you 10 grams of fiber, so about a third of what you need for a day. If I ate 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, my stomach would explode. So I typically have about 1 tablespoon on top of a smoothie bowl. And then I will also add some of my trail mix blend instead of adding like granola or something because I don't have granola, but I have this. So this is walnuts, pecans, dried cherries, pumpkin seeds, and dark chocolate chips. This is awesome. This is so good. This is a really good blend for healthy fats. It's also a really good blend for some of the vitamins and minerals that we oftentimes want or need more of when we are trying to conceive, which I am not, childless by choice here, but if you are trying to conceive, some of these or a lot of these nutrients are really useful in that endeavor. It's also really just delicious. So I will add this to the top as well. So that is what I will have for lunch and for breakfast this week. Smoothie bowls and lentil soup. And I'm gonna chip away at using some of the stuff in my pantry and my freezers. And I will be back again next week showing you how I'm gonna do a low buy or no buy breakfast and lunch prep next week. And I hope you will join. I hope you will come back, subscribe to the channel if this is interesting to you. And if you have things in your pantry that you're not sure how to turn into a healthy meal that you want to use up, leave them in the comments and I will try to give you some ideas. Thank you so much for being here.